Okay, so now we can talk about what is total surplus and so what is total surplus, and another word for total surplus is actually welfare. And what we will do later is called welfare analysis. Okay, so now we have here a market and we can just summarize what we have. So, and this market, when it is in equilibrium, so that will be very important. When the market is in equilibrium, the equilibrium price is 6 and the equilibrium quantity is 4. That's a weird circle. So let's try it again. So the equilibrium quantity is 4. Okay, so, and then we said we have this area of consumer surplus. Actually, let's write that down. So we have parameters for our welfare analysis. So we have a certain parameter. It's a little bit crooked. Okay, let's try it again. So we have a certain parameter. Better, and they have a value. And the first parameter is the equilibrium price. We call that P star, that is 6. Then we have the equilibrium quantity, Q star, which is 4. And then we said we have producer surplus. So producer surplus was the upper triangle above the equilibrium. So we have here this triangle, and we made that green. Let's make it a little bit transparent too. Format shape, fill, and give it some transparency. Okay, and maybe different color. Okay, more something like this. And we had the producer surplus, which was this triangle, and we gave that the color blue, maybe something like this. Okay, and we already calculated those areas, and we said, okay, consumer surplus is the green area where the base is 1, 2, 3, 4, height is 4, 4 times 4 is 16, 16 over 2 is 8. And we have producer surplus. And of course producer surplus is also 8. And then, little surprisingly, total surplus or welfare is 16. So welfare is equal to consumer surplus plus producer surplus, but in subsequent videos we will expand that equation, because it also, if the government collects taxes, that counts towards welfare. But when the government, for example, subsidizes a product, that's a cost that needs to be subtracted. So there will be more to it later. But for now, we have here a market which is in equilibrium. And whenever the market is in equilibrium, we know it will clear. And market clearance means that all those consumers that are lined up on the demand function, they have a willingness to pay that is higher than all the firms, all the producers' willingness to sell. It doesn't make any sense to go past the equilibrium quantity of 4, because here we have only consumers left whose willingness to pay is not enough to cover all the cost that the producers would have to cover. So therefore the market clears at 4, and we have a total surplus or welfare of 60, and that will be the reference case for economic policies that we will discuss in the next videos. And those economic policies, they have all one thing in common: they somehow distort the market equilibrium. And yeah, but we will do that in the next video. Let's just quickly summarize again. So here on that slide, you just see what we just did. So again, total surplus is consumer surplus plus producer surplus. And another term for total surplus is welfare. And again, here we have our summary of the parameters that will serve as a benchmark scenario for policy distortions. And the first policy that we will discuss is a so-called price ceiling, and I'll do that in the next video.